in the event someone would like to renew, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and use my example property. We'll use Bongo Drive. Bongo Drive has a lease on it that is going to expire at the end of this month. And I'm going to spread this out just a little bit so everybody can see. And this lease, as you can see, ends at the end of this month. And Franco and Lenore have decided that they'd like to stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit edit this lease, which, as you know, brings me to the lease notebook. The lease notebook is the area where the details about the lease are stored. And in this case, there are several tabs of information. This front tab shows us that their actual move-in was 6/1 of 16, and that their lease ends on 7/31 of 17. The reason it's not a green line here showing current lease is because this is a lease that's getting ready to expire. And inside that 30-day window before expiration, this will show up as a yellow line in all kinds of areas throughout PropertyBoss. So you're able to see that this lease indeed is coming up and expiring. Now, hopefully you've made plans in the past to notify them according to your lease, or they should notify you. And under your dates tab, I just want to bring this to your attention. Under the dates tab, there is a renewal due by field. Now, in this case, if you had required that they contact you, say 30 or 60 days prior to the lease end, then you would have typed that date here in order for this date to be recognized by a specific report in PropertyBoss. What this does is this gives you a heads up, not to the end of the lease. Instead, what this does is it gives you a heads up as to what day is necessary that either you speak to your tenant or the tenant speaks to you and gives you notification that they'll be A, staying, or B, moving out. If you have a clause like this in your lease, this is a wonderful spot to keep track of that date. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that that was the case, and we have already discussed renewal, and now today I'm getting ready to renew this lease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come once again into the lease notebook. For right now, we're going to look at renew. Renew gives us the opportunity to discuss the date that we renewed the lease itself, and then we also have the new lease end date. Then all I have to do is click my renew button, and it will ask me, am I sure? And I am in this case. And it asks me now, do I want to schedule a rent change? Which means, would I like to change the rate of the rents which we're charging? And I'm going to say yes. In this scenario, I want you to see that there is a history of the rent changing over the years. Now I'm going to say, I'm going to go ahead and move this now. Today, we're going to move to a $1,300. The best way to do a rent change is, instead of trying to edit anything that came before, because it's nice to have a history that you can view, the best thing to do is actually create new by clicking on the new button. And so I'm going to say effective, why don't we say on 8/1 of 17, we're going to have a rent increase that totals $1,300. So all in, their new rent is $1,300. And when I click OK, I won't be able to see that change occur at this moment because today is still 7/19. However, as soon as 8/1 rolls around, sure enough, I'm going to see my tenant is going to be paying $1,300, and that's what will be charged moving forward every time we auto post rent. So it's very easy to do. The things to remember are to set a new date rather than trying to edit an old date and dollar figure that you're collecting for rent.